Why do you need that data? I mean, for how long has it been? Decades and decades and, decades, we have not needed to collect every specific amount of energy that we use. Why now?
Uh, Now is an opportunity for us to do that because technology evolved to do that, number one. Number two, what this technology is going to give to a consumer like you and me is going to be, number one, energy savings. And it gives you an opportunity to replace your old inefficient appliances because you know this is taking so much amount of power, so it's time for you to change it. And it gives you an opportunity to cut off your usage when there is a peak, and the utility gives you an incentive to do that.
Yes, but the company can also limit your power usage. Isn't that right? Because they have access to your appliances and equipment through the smart grid. Isn't that right?
They do have access to your appliances consumption data, but they are not having a right or any regulation allows, no regulation allows them to cut off your appliances or cut off your home meter without a prior approval.
Okay, and this is what this is where we find out how it really affects the regular person, the regular Joe, like me. Not
you
like
and
you.
me.
You're not the regular Joe.
I am lower than a regular Joe.
Oh, no, I don't think so. But I think the question here is if you are struggling with your bills, let's say, with your utility bills, and Glendale Water and Power, just as an example, Glendale Water and Power knows that you're using X amount, yet you're not able to pay the bill. They in no way can use the smart technology to say, oh, sorry, you get no power, you get nothing until we get your money.
It's because of a smart grid, there is no change going to be. According to what we know. What we have been seeing, for example, if I'm not paying bills for 4 months and they have been sending notices and I ignored it, and if they decide to go and cut off my electricity, the way they will do it, they will come to your home and pull the plug, right, or shut it down. That is the only difference because of the smart grid. Instead of coming all the way to your home, after all the warnings and notices, they will do it remotely. That's the only difference.
So they can have direct access. That sounds like a contradiction, Saurav, with what you said before. They can have direct access to cut off your power.
No, I'm saying the same thing what I said earlier. What I'm trying to tell you is that technology gives them an ability to do that, but it does not give them a right to do that.
Well, they might not have the right, but if they have the power, what's to stop them?
But it is against the regulation for them to use the power of access to do what has not been approved by the regulation and the regulatory commissions.
And you don't see that ever changing? They have a lot of power and money. I mean, they may start off in the beta phase and the testing phase, not having the right to be able to do that, but 5 years down the road, they're lobbying Congress, and suddenly the regulations say, hey, regulations that me and the other regular Joes might not know about, suddenly they do have the power to do that. Do you see that happening?
See, I really believe in democracy, and I really don't think any sector or a utility company will gain that much amount of power to decide what they want to do.
They already have all the power.
If you
Literally,
look at it, if you look at it, whatever they have been doing right now, giving you 4 notices or 5 notices and give you an opportunity to come up with the payment plans, whatever that is, based on the geography and whatever the regulatory commissions have been telling you to do that, they cannot change it only because there is a technology. Let me tell you what the technology brings to the table. One, it gives them an efficient way to monitor their distribution. It gives you an efficient way to fix the line issues immediately because they know what point there is a transmission loss, what point there is an outage. So they can send the crew immediately, so it gives us a benefit for both of you, average Joe and below average Joe. And we get to know our bills immediately, so we don't have to call them and wait for, okay, what could be my consumption? And it gives us an ability to take any incentive from the government. For example, if government decides for the low-income household, they want to give a $50 every month as a top-off on your meters. So they can put that money in because smart grid is there. So up to $50, you can use the power for free. And you can even budget it because, on a daily basis, how much you are consuming. So you can do like, I want to do $5 every day or $10 every day. So you can budget it because you have a control over it.
Okay, well, the way you talk about it sounds amazing. It sounds like we should all just go for it right away. But I don't know. I think that there are some questions in there that might still need to be asked. Like, what happens to the folks that were the crew that were sent to shut off the power or turn the power back on or fix? When you have smart, intelligent technology, you don't need the people as much manpower. Isn't that right? Isn't that a loss of jobs?
It's a loss of a role, but loss of a job or not, it depends on how the utility handles it.
Mr. Semantics, I don't know.
If you look at it, if there won't be any meter readers reading the meters if this technology comes in. That I accept.
Loss of job.
It's a loss of a role. But if you take
job role, it's the same, I think.
I agree. But if there are a lot of regulations coming into place, when utility companies are given an approval to do a smart grid, they have been told or they have been instructed that there shouldn't be any loss of jobs. So these workers should be retrained to maintain the smart grid. Let me tell you how many jobs a smart grid will create.
Okay.
And what kind of jobs? Smart grid can create jobs like meter management, electrical or mechanical engineers who are going to be maintaining these meters, right? And there should be many jobs in back office to maintain all the software systems which are necessary to maintain the smart grid. So all these workers can be retrained, and more workers will end up being recruited just to do this.
Well, the hope is that there will be jobs created on the back end, because from what I understand, earlier I said that this is in hopes of creating more green jobs and that kind of thing, but at what price? And I'm wondering if the price could be, again, the loss of jobs, yes, but could it also increase the cost of utilities? I know that our President Obama, and I know you follow what's happening in D.C. with him and his policies. I know they've been trying to get the cap and trade off the ground for the longest, but that's doesn't seem to be getting off the ground quite yet. But President Obama, as a candidate, said that in order for some of these new technology, green jobs to come in, the price of energy will necessarily have to skyrocket. Not my words, his words. So at what price do we bring in this technology? If we're struggling right now in a down economy to bring in this kind of technology when we have power that works as is, and the cost of energy having to skyrocket, why bring that in? I mean, it seems like it might hurt people actually financially more than help with data collection.
But I agree with you in this point.
Oh, good. We're in agreement.
Partially.
Okay.
Because we all have to accept the fact if utility companies are going to put a lot of investments, it will come from the ratepayers like you and me. Because they will increase or they have to increase the rate base to cover the cost of installation of this entire infrastructure. But on the longer run, the hope we have is because customers will be educated on the use of every appliance which they are using, and the customers will have an opportunity to shut it down even remotely from your office. You can shut down and control the energy usage. So the increase in the rate will be compensated by the capability to have an efficient customers system so that they can control the consumption.
I don't know how
that's what there is a hope. There is no study yet or a proven method to say yes, what the theory has been proven.
Yeah.
I have to accept that.